Oilersnation After Dark begins now.
Well, the afternoon matinee curse continues to roll on for the Edmonton Oilers. Another frustrating one this afternoon. The Oilers they didn't come to play in that first period. They were in this hockey game. They had a chance to win it, but at the end of the day, rough start. And then in the third period, you spent 10 minutes without getting a shot on net while you're actively losing the hockey game. Not a good strategy. Calvin Pickard definitely leaves some to the imagination, but it's not all on him. Not as good of a game as he had against the Winnipeg Jets, though. And the Oilers, we sit here breaking down a 5-2 loss to the Philadelphia Flyers. My, oh my, life comes at you fast. But hello, what up and welcome to Oilers Nation After Dark in the middle of the afternoon, presented by Bet365 19+. Please play responsibly. As I check the clock right now, it is actually 4:20. So smoke up, Johnny. You're going to need it after that. See, it starts negative. We already find the positivity in this. That's what we do. But hello, what up? Joined by Oilers Nation contributor, a writer at the website, Sean, Pang, and Eben. And Sean, the Oilers moved to 5-10 in afternoon weekend games since the start of last season. This game at one point goes from an absolute dumpster fire of a hockey game to a holy shit, wait a minute, can we win this hockey game? Back to, of course, they weren't going to win this game. Oh, the duality of the Edmonton Oilers, if you will. Pangs, give me a vibe check. How you feeling? How you doing after that L?
Yeah, that was a tough one. It seems like the Edmonton Oilers are still stuck in holidays mode because they just did not start that game very good. I know we're going to dive into it, but that was a tough one. When you dig yourself a hole of 3-0 in the first period, that's a tough mountain to climb.
Shout out Darnell Nurse, because he lit the spark. He lit it for the Edmonton Oilers in this one. That building was fucking silent by the point that Darnell decided to drop the gloves. And thank God he did, because the Oilers quickly responded. They were once again in this game. And yep, give Philadelphia credit. They definitely play that Rick Tocchet style of hockey where they're going to grind you down. And once again, the third period effort from the Edmonton Oilers, that was a snooze fest. And you just don't deserve to win the hockey game. You don't put up a shot on goal 10 fucking minutes of that hockey game. First things first, let's get caught up into the chat because we do have one super chat. Reminder, all your super chats are in support of the Bren Stelter Foundation, a cause that does incredible things, and it's Cheeks Clap for $2. He says, clap bet by Aldrin Games. We just got clapped. I don't have any idea what that means, but thank you for the $2 donation to the Bren Stelter Foundation. To Doug is in and said, looks like we are back to a one-man team. Connor McDavid wants some positive spin zones, continues now his 15-game point streak, scored a beauty, 25th of the season. Jay says, we need more people contributing than McDavid and the power play unit. Shout out our boy Matthew Wozniak, because he just had the tweet of all tweets online, and he said, it's the line of Janmark, Henrik, and Trent Frederick if it was a meal. And it's plain white rice with unseasoned, uncooked chicken. And yep, that's definitely, I didn't even notice they played in this hockey game, to be honest with you. Shout out to Waz, because that killed me, man. Wow. That killed me when I first saw this. Waz, stick that to you. Everybody go throw down a retweet. Give that tweet some love. Epic Hunter's in. 2 weeks until Wallman replaces Regula and Jari replaces Pickard. We got our every single game. I got my text from Brett Holden that just says, God damn it, Alec Regula he is wretched at hockey, fighting Amish. Is it time to January? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not going to just wipe this one and let this one wash away in an afternoon weekend matinee game, but I'm also kind of going to just do that and find a way to make an excuse. Amanda, Ekholm looked pretty rough today. Yep. The man doesn't make Team Sweden. Once again, he had a beautiful feed on the Connor McDavid breakaway goal. And then Cheeks Clap said matinee versus prime poll. Which do you hate more? Matinee games during the afternoon or games on Amazon Prime? That's actually a really tough one to try and think about. When you say that, I don't know. That's just a world that I don't want to live in. First things first, shout out the Nation Vacation. Coming up, March 2026. Going to be an unbelievable time down in Sin City. Save your spot with a 20% deposit right now. Variety of packages available. Travel your way at nationgear.ca. Shout out Expedia Cruises as well. All right, let's take it from the top, Pangs, because what a wild first period that was. And I guess it's crazy to say because the Oilers were down, 3-0 at one point in that period. I will say, for the literal start of the hockey game, like the first couple shifts, the Oilers actually were pretty good. Leon Draisaitl's line, they had a couple shifts there. I think two of them back-to-back where they had hemmed in the Philadelphia Flyers. The broadcast even mentioned after the first TV timeout, they're like, that's rare for the Oilers to get out to a good start. Shots were 6-1 in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. And then it all started to fall apart. Denver Barkey, he is able to, beat Jack Ross. I'll say maybe just a little bit of a defensive coverage mishap down there. They take a 1-0 lead. And then the second goal, Phillies on an absolute shooting gallery against Calvin Pickard. He makes two pretty good saves to start it. Then Darnell Nurse clears it directly right to one Travis Sanheim, and he goes bar down on Calvin Pickard. Then it gets even worse. You have an Evan Bouchard turnover at some of the most inopportune times. The Oilers are down 3-0, 15 minutes into the hockey game. Panger, where was your vibe check at that point in the hockey game? Let me ask you. Because, as I said, I was a little bit surprised. I did think the Oilers started, once again, minute or two in the hockey game. Then you're like, oh, they got a little bit of energy here. And then, of course, I should have been surprised by that because quickly the bottom fell out. Things just felt like they started to snowball. And before you know it, the Oilers are facing a 3-0 deficit at home in front of the children for the next generation game. Pangs, what were you thinking being down 3-0?
Yeah, absolutely. The Oilers, they did come out pretty hot. They had some good chances, good shots on net, but they obviously just couldn't capitalize. And it almost seemed like they just ran out of steam at that point. And after that, it just seemed like it was a combination of they were trying to force passes that weren't there. The forwards weren't coming back deep enough. And then the Flyers just kind of amped it up in combination of, like you said, the first two goals against, you got Alec Regula, Darnell Nurse making mistakes, giveaways, Darnell Nurse giveaway. The Flyers took the wind out of the Oilers' sails. And I know we'll get into it, but it took a Darnell Nurse scrap to get some life in that building.
We want to save that for the good and the good, the bad, the Oilers, because Darnell, once again, that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but he should get two assists for that Connor McDavid goal because I think it was 28 seconds after the fact that the Oilers go out and score. Chase, this made me laugh, said, showing the children you can mail it in and still make millions. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. That's the reality of what it is. And then, so the Oilers, they fight their way back in. Obviously, the Darnell Nurse fight goes down. Connor McDavid, sound like a broken record, but yep, once again, he looks unbelievable out there on the ice. But there's been some questions in the crease recently. So after Wednesday's game, Chris Knobloch did, and he said it to the media, that Tristan Jarry will not be expected back until at least mid-January. So we know that continues to mean the healthy competition between Calvin Pickard and Connor Ingram. Calvin Pickard's last game against Winnipeg, he was unbelievable. He stopped 41 of 42. And then Connor Ingram's last performance definitely left some to the imagination. So you feel the door's open a little bit here for one Calvin Pickard to maybe grab that backup role a little bit more. Who knows? It's healthy competition. It's what you want to see, frankly, in the Edmonton Oilers crease. And Calvin Pickard, well, I'm curious, chat, what did you think of his performance in this game? That last goal against, that's one you simply need to have. It was such a deflating, back-breaking goal. But I don't know. I felt like there was a bit of a mixed bag in this one for Calvin Pickard because, as we said, to start out the hockey game, I do feel like the Edmonton Oilers left him out to dry. On that Sanheim goal, Calvin Pickard made 1-2 pretty damn unbelievable saves to keep the Oilers in it, and then they just cannot clear the puck. And then, obviously, the third one is a Bouchard giveaway. But at the end of the day, he had at that point allowed 3 goals on 6 shots. So I'm sitting there, cameras cutting over to one Connor Ingram, will they, won't they type situation. And then it did feel like Calvin Pickard started to settle in the crease just a little bit more. Now, settle in might not be the best description of Calvin Pickard because we always joke about his beer league tendencies and how it never looks pretty and how, frankly, it's a little bit erratic from time to time. Oh, yeah. That was Calvin Pickard this afternoon. There's the one save where he made the beautiful wraparound toe save coming across, which, yeah, looks sick on the highlight reel, but it's only a thing because he was so out of position biting on the move on the other side of the net. But at the end of the day, Calvin Pickard, he does finish with 24 of 28 for an .857 save percentage. What'd you think of one Calvin Pickard in this hockey game?
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Calvin Pickard heading into this game, he needed to play like his job was on the line. And as you mentioned, it was just more so a mixed bag. Like you said, 8.57 save percentage. And when the wheels started to fall off for the Oilers in the first period, they really needed their netminder to make those big saves. Unfortunately, he didn't. But in the second period, we talk about that mixed bag. Like you said, he was pretty stellar. He faced 11 shots in that second period, that acrobatic save on the wraparound. He was there for his team. But then we talk about taking the wind out of the team's sails. That fourth goal against was definitely deflating. So for Calvin Pickard against the Flyers today, the Oilers really needed a big game from him, and he just couldn't put that out there on the ice.
Was with some harsh words is in the chat and says that was worse than watching Geno Smith play football. Now, Matthew, I don't know if I can agree with that because the Oakland Raiders, I was about to say, the Las Vegas Raiders are borderline unwatchable. Also, we got some good football going down on my cell phone right here as well right now. We can do it all. Also, one more thing let's talk about, then let's relive it all in the Greta scoring summary. Next gen game with the kids on part of the game day production and all that fun stuff. But it was next gen game because we had a kid line as well. Shout out Chris Knobloch for really committing to the theme of the kid night tonight. However, I feel like we didn't. I mean, what did we set the over under? I think we said 8.5 minutes time on ice for the kid line earlier today on pre-gaming. And you would say that, yes, they all smashed the over on that one. They had a couple chances, moments here and there. Ike Howard played 11:52. Where is Matt Savoy? 10:16. Quinn Hudson 9:17. So they're not out there as much as they are in the AHL without a doubt, but they showed a little bit of flash here and there. Obviously, that fourth goal against the kid line was out on the ice. And me and you, Pangs, just kind of talked about it before we went live that, I mean, you can rag on the kid line all you want. That was, in my opinion, a bold decision from Chris Knobloch to put out the kid line for a defensive zone draw in that situation. And hey, I understand Oilers hadn't put up a shot on net at any point in that period. So fuck it. Who does what are you going to do anyways? You got to at least try something at that point, but then it immediately backfired in the Oilers' faces. Bangs, overall, you look at it, nothing to really write home about. I don't even know if you had to ask me, Aaron, what was the one biggest memorable moment of the kid line? Don't really have one. So overall, what was your takeaways of Howard and Hudson making their second stint with the Edmonton Oilers?
You bet. The kid line was the biggest news heading into the game today. So there was a lot of spotlight on them. And I don't think they played bad per se. They just really couldn't get possession of the puck. And they couldn't get the puck to settle down. And when credit to the Philadelphia Flyers, when they were playing up against that kid line, they knew there's maybe a little bit of jitters. They hemmed them in their zone for periods at a time. So I can't really say that they had a bad game. I would like to see them get more looks in the coming games, get those jitters out of the way. And that goal against, like you mentioned, I kind of point the fingers at Chris Knobloch for putting them on third period down a goal. And you're going to put that kid line who Matt Savoy at that time before taking that faceoff was only 25% on the dot. So that wasn't the best moment to put him in. You want to let that kid line run wild, but at the same time, you kind of want to shelter them a little bit. So overall, not the best game from the kid line, but I'd like to see more of them moving forward.
Let it ride, Nobby. Let it ride. I like that you mentioned there. Yeah, some jitters. You're back up with the new club and all these things. Then on the other side, obviously, it's been a story about the Oilers' bottom six and their lack of doing anything. I don't want to continue to rag on guys, but I think Waz's tweet is a perfect description of the Rico, Freddie, Janmark trio. Waz, I see you in the chat. There's just a thing of absolute beauty from you. Did they even play? Do I even care at this point? It's getting frustrating, and it is what it is at this point of the season. Woosah. Let's relive it all. Greta scoring summary brought to you by Greta Bar, YEG, Arcade Bar Street Food, my favorite spot in the entire city. I know they had an unbelievable New Year's Eve party going down there at Greta. And hey, it's Saturday. It's 4:30 in the afternoon. You're thinking about what you want to do this evening? Hey, if you're feeling bored, you're feeling adventurous, go down to Greta, play some games, eat some great food, watch some football. I highly recommend it. I do it all the time. All right, let's kick it off here. Bert, 1-0 goal for the Philadelphia Flyers. And this is the one, right, where the Oilers, like you see it right there on the screen. I believe the shots are 6-2 at this point. But it's Owen Tippett along the boards, centering pass to the middle of the ice, and he finds a streaking Denver Barkey, I believe was how you say his name once again. He beats Jack Roslovic. He's able to sneak in behind him. You can kind of see it on this replay right here. He's just straight shot from one end to the other. He's a pretty impressive player. Once again, don't know a whole heck of a lot about the guy. The first name, Denver, I'll tip my cap to that. But he, in the first period specifically, was all over the ice and pangs the Oilers. Once again, shot 6-3 at that point, but they were the better team to start the hockey game. They were the aggressor, and then this would just be a premonition of things to come. And now the Flyers, they were much more opportunistic.
Yeah, on this play, at this moment, the Oilers' mindset was like offense, 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 and their commitment to defense was rather putrid by everybody on that ice. And I hate to single a couple players out, but Regula and Darnell Nurse, they really got their communications crossed. Regula went to step up. Darnell Nurse just didn't read it, let the guy go by him, and unfortunate goal for the Oilers on this one here.
Brett, pull that back to the very beginning one more time, because as you look at those two zigzag, that is just a clusterfuck of what are you doing? Because then it makes Jack Roslovic have to shoulder check, and okay. Denver has got so much speed coming down the middle of the ice. This is just a disaster. Producer Brett, what'd you think?
How does this? Oh, hello. Sorry. Somebody has their volume up on something else. How does this puck get through Alec Regula? Are you kidding me? Look at where he is. And it's the laziest play I've ever seen from a defenseman along the wall. And just lets it go through. Oh, I think I sent it to our group chat. I definitely sent it to somebody. You send him to the gulag. What are we doing with Alec Regula right now? I don't get it.
We need Jake Wallman to return back to this Oilers squad, because once again, I understand the logic of why the Edmonton Oilers coaching staff and their brass are so committed to Alec Regula. He's 25 years young. He's got a big body. He's got the reach. He has all the intangibles, but their commitment right now to playing him in a spot that clearly has not been working, is not working, and I don't know if it's going to work at any point this season when you put him and Darnell Nurse together. At the end of the day, I do think there is still an NHL player there, and maybe it's just a result of the Oilers. They're up against it. Who else are you putting in that role? But I feel like the Oilers found the answer to that while Jake Wallman was gone in one Spencer Stastny. It was a small sample size that we saw with him and Darnell Nurse on that second pairing, but didn't take no genius to look at it and say, okay, he might be a better option, because as I always mention with Spencer Stastny, he can skate his way out of the majority of problems that come his way. This Alec Regula thing, this has gone too far. Jake Wallman, we do expect to be back some point in January. He had a broken bone in his foot. Hallelujah, because he needs to come back. Final Buzzer says it. And Final Buzzer says it, not me. He says, okay, hard truth. Regula sucks. I do think there can be a player in there just in this role that they're pigeonholing him into right now, Pangs. There's no way he's going to be successful, and we've seen it for enough of a stretch of time for us to continue to sit here. And it's because of injuries, but it's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over, rolling out Nurse and Regula and being like, well, maybe tonight they won't fuck it up. Of course they're going to have their mistakes in their moments. It's very frustrating.
And I want to even date it back a little bit further. The moment when the Oilers had to make a decision on, do we keep Troy Stecher, who's smaller, or do we keep the big body and Alec Regula? Troy Stecher, knowing that he could play with Darnell Nurse and at times brings the best out of Nurse. And at that moment, they said, hey, we're going with size. So I hope moving forward, the Oilers brass, the management, they don't, favor size over compatibility, chemistry, like the letting go of Troy Stecher to the Toronto Maple Leafs there.
Yeah, it's with Regula because he's a younger player, and the Oilers have made a concerted effort to get younger, and that's why they have Kai Emerson, and that's why they have Regula. That's why they got Stasty. Bouchard is young, but there also becomes a point that you have too many guys that's more of a you could maybe allow for, and this is just my opinion here, but a third pairing of two of those younger guys, but one that bleeds in to your top four. And already a guy in Darnell Nurse who maybe doesn't have the most consistency to his game. You just throw two things together and I go, no shit, it's a grenade and it blows up in front of you. But I digress at that. Let's continue along. 2-0 for the Philadelphia Flyers. This is the one that I said was just an absolute shooting gallery in the Oilers' own end. So before this one, Pickard had made not one, but two pretty damn good stops. And then, you'll see it as it kind of evolves here. There's a big one. He throws it out into the corner. The play will continue along. Makes a beautiful pad stop. And then Darnell Nurse kind of clears it directly. I couldn't see who else was also in front of Calvin or with Darnell Nurse there. No, he just plays it. He just plays it right to him. Goes back to one Travis Sanheim. And hey, I've been a guy who's been talking some shit about Travis Sanheim, saying maybe I don't understand why he's on the Olympic roster. Now, I don't think it's because of his offensive ability or a shot like that, but hey, he stuck it to me, stuck it to the Edmonton Oilers. This one, Pangs, this was one of those situations where any seasoned hockey fan or an Oilers fan, you're just like, oh yeah, they're about to get one here. It doesn't matter how, but they're about to get one.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about it. The Oilers came out super strong and they were firing and thinking offense. And in this moment, they were still thinking offense. They weren't putting that effort into committing to the D. And as you can see, I mean, they were trying to make a play there. Like, I don't know. Well, I don't know where Nurse was trying to make a play too. Made a pretty bad one. Put it on the tape. Put it on the wrong team's tape. And in the back of the net there.
Not your teammate. Not your teammate chases in. They're so soft getting the puck out of the zone. Bo, lots of floating around and grouping up on one side of the ice. A lot of puck watching here. Yeah, once again, doesn't take. Yeah. I'm not Tyler. I'm not calling the audience idiots, but it doesn't take a genius to look at that and be like, boys, play with some. Come on. It was a very frustrating first period. And speaking of frustrating, hey, Evan Bouchard giveth, Evan Bouchard taketh away. He would later score an absolute beauty, but third goal against. There's a turnover at center ice. Evan Bouchard here behind the net, trying to break this one out with plenty of time. And it's a mistake already. Odd man rush going back the other way. And then there's a deflection off a skate, and Bobby Brink eventually gets credit for this one. Hey, a lot of people online, they're instantly turning on Bouchard. And I will say Bouchard on an absolute roller coaster of a hockey game. This had the Bouchard stamp on it because you didn't know what was coming at any point in this hockey game. But Philly, quick strike. And as I mentioned earlier off the top of the show, Philly was just more opportunistic. They get this one at center ice, and they are quickly working it up the other way. And then obviously it's a bad bounce for the Oilers' sake, for Calvin Pickard's sake, I should say specifically. But I mean, man, when you're making errors like that going up the ice, no shit, it's coming back the other way. And I'm not going to sit here and, destroy Evan Bouchard. I'm not surprised by this play, as we'll see by the next goals that come our way. He does make up for it eventually, but it is what it is with one Evan Bouchard, and the Flyers come down and take a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, when you're down 2-0 there like the Oilers were, you maybe want to dial back the Hail Mary passes and wish plays, and Evan Bouchard, he went for it. And like you said, Evan Bouchard giveth and he taketh away. And those types of plays by Evan Bouchard where he gives it away, I mean, that's kind of what Hockey Canada probably factored in when they didn't select him for the Olympic team. As much as I want Evan Bouchard on that team, those are the types of plays that they just didn't want to gamble with.
Fair enough. And once again, I mean, that's a whole discussion for another day, but when Cale Makar is going to be playing the full 2 minutes of every power play, and yes, Evan Bouchard is elite at moving pucks, I do think the Canadian D-Corps has other needs that Bouchard, he just doesn't satisfy those needs. I'll say Conservative Jay, not satisfying him. He says, this is killing me. Turn off the highlights. Brother, we got to pay the bills. But don't worry, at this point in the hockey game, things would start to turn around a little bit. Darnell Nurse gets in his scrap, and 28 seconds later, Connor McDavid would find the back of the net. He gets sprung on a breakaway from one big Viking, Matthias Ekholm. It's one-on-one, McDavid versus Dan Vladar, who I haven't even mentioned his name yet in this show. He was damn good in this hockey game. He's been good against the Oilers in his history. He's been solid this season. But hey, on that one, Connor McDavid would get the best of him. The Oilers, opportunistic in their own right as they pounced off a turnover here. Ekholm quickly looks up and gets it over to Connor McDavid, scoring his 25th goal of the season. Pangs, I need 15 more to cash my future on Bet365 of 40 plus. And you know what? I'm feeling pretty confident about it because Connor lately is just a goal scoring machine, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say the Oilers as a whole, they've been a little bit slow coming out of that Christmas break. However, Connor McDavid, he didn't stuff himself with too much turkey because he's still been on a roll. 13 points in his last 6 games. It's nice to see the captain continue his hot streak here.
Connor McDavid feeling lit, feeling light, had 6 shots on goal as well in this hockey game. So I did hit the 4+ shots on goal for Connor McDavid. That's the only thing I hit on Bet365. Oh, shit. Then it gets 3-2. The Oilers continue to scratch, claw, fight their way back in, and it's the Oilers on the power play with Evan Bouchard with a Boosh bomb of all Boosh bombs, brother. He's playing a little bit of pitch and catch here with one Connor McDavid, and right by the face-off dot, just a clean shot. Dan Vladar had no fucking chance on this shot. You can see it by his reaction in some of these later replays. He's just, by the time he moves over and can even locate, it's already in the back of the net. Evan Bouchard. It's why they pay him the big bucks. And once again, it's why errors like that third goal against are so easy to stomach for one Evan Bouchard, because not many people in the NHL are blasting pucks like that. But you just had a straight shot to beat Vladar. The broadcast had mentioned as well about how in that kind of mid area of his glove and blocker is the area to attack on Dan Vladar. So maybe Bouchard was reading the scouting report. But either way, Boosh bomb was beautiful, and I believe that was his 8th goal of the season. Shout out to Boosh. He giveth, he taketh away as well, Pangs. It's all a part of the Bouchard experience.
100% correct. Yeah, just by the way that Bouchard was shooting the puck in the first period, even before, just as soon as McDavid passed this puck, I knew that was going in the back of the net. This specific play where he's taking one-timers on his off wing, I really don't know why they don't run that a little bit more, just because it increases your odds for a better shot. But great goal by Evan Bouchard there.
Yes, it was. And then, do we need to relive them all? Do we need to relive it? No. Third period, Nick Seeler, he would score his first of the season, making it 4-2. And then Owen Tippett would bury an empty netter. Final score, 5-2 for the Philadelphia Flyers over the Oilers. As I said off the hop, the Oilers moved to 5-10 in weekend matinee games since the start of last season. Oh, baby, you could just kind of feel it in this one. But let's go now. The good, the bad, and the oily. Brought to you by Oodle Noodle. Download the app today. Available in the Google Play Store or the App Store. And when you do that, take advantage of their awesome $2 deal for any regular box, any premium box. For $2, you can add on top of that 2 green onion cakes, 5 spring rolls, or 6 deep fried wontons. It's the deal of all deals. Let me tell you, nobody does it better than Oodle Noodle. And I did get a little sidetracked. I was going to order Oodle Noodle during that hockey game. No, I decided to save it for a little Saturday night football action between between the 49ers and the Seahawks. But still about this game, let's kick it off with the good in this one. And we went with the Darnell Nurse fight. Shout out Daryl for taking that scrap and taking on a tough customer in one Garnett Hathaway. Here you see it. The Oilers, they're down at a bad spot in this game, and these are 2 heavyweights going at it, doing a little ring around the rosy, just throwing each other with momentum going each way. Or Nurse would eventually get kind of ragdolled at the end. You could see the respect between both of them there. 2 guys that not many other players in the NHL want to fight, but I just loved it from Darnell Nurse, and that's a reason why he wears a letter. He did give an interview with Gene Principe later on, and he kind of said, well, I wasn't doing much out there on the ice, so I figured I might as well go sit for 5 and get in a little bit of a scrap, try and light a spark for his team. Rogers Place was quiet at that point in the hockey game, and then Darnell, he rejuvenates everything. He brings the energy, and it's no coincidence that 28 seconds later, Connor McDavid scores a beautiful breakaway goal. All of a sudden, the Oilers, they're believing, the crowd is believing, and you go into that first intermission not feeling as down as you would have been otherwise. And I'd say not only did the Edmonton Oilers score after that fight, but like the energy was completely changed. The Oilers were then hemming in the Flyers in their own end and having some excellent offensive possession time. And I mentioned off the top that Nursey doesn't get any points on that McDavid breakaway goal, but I want to make a petition that he gets an assist because he is directly related to them getting back in there, having that energy. And that's, hey, people talk about Darnell Nurse and $9.25 million a lot. I understand why. It is completely justified. We just went through the highlights. But if you're going to do that, you also have to appreciate the intangibles, the leadership aspect that he brings to this team. And, oh, yeah, the fact that he can kick the shit out of most players in the entire NHL. The good this afternoon, Pangs, Darnell Nurse being a leader, getting in a scrap with Garnett Hathaway, a guy that, I tell you, not many players want to get in a scrap against.
100%. There have been times throughout the season where the Edmonton Oilers have fell behind in games with no one to give a jolt of energy to the team, no one to spark anything. And everybody's looking around on the bench, but credit to Darnell Nurse. And you mentioned it, when he's playing at his peak, he is a leader on the blue line. So credit to him for identifying that, hey, this team needs a jolt. They need a spark. And especially because he may have been the culprit on the first 2 goals against. And he said, hey, I'm going to rally the boys. And he took on a tough customer there of over 40 fights for Garnett Hathaway, a tough customer. So credit to Darnell Nurse for doing what he did to get his team into the game.
I like people here. Like Cheeks Clap, good. Nurse attempted to fight. Literally nothing happened in this fight. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. It's the fact that he gets in the scrap. We're not sitting there when Trent Frederick get his fucking eye shut earlier in the season going, well, he got beat up in the fight. No, we were proud that he got out there and he tried to do something for the team and affect the game in a way. Darnell Nurse also, final buzzer. A lot of whining going on in the chat right now. You'd act like you'd feel like this is not the first afternoon matinee game the Oilers have lost before. Final buzzer, though, good point. Says Nurse did it for the kids. Absolutely. And then he said in Nurse's interview, he said he fought because he was doing a whole lot of nothing. Well, fighting, or at least attempting to fight. If your cheeks clap, well, that's also attempting to do something as well. With good comes bad. And for the bad, we went with the third period. And the fact that the Oilers went 10 minutes in that third period without registering a shot on goal, facing a 1-goal deficit. It was unbelievable. That's the kind of third period that can put a man to sleep. And then obviously you get that at the 10-minute mark. You lose the defensive zone draw with the kid line out on the ice, and it's a little bit of a wobbler puck. Gross one for Calvin Pickard to let in. And before you know it, you're like, okay, pack it in. You could see some folks at Rogers Place where you're like, well, that's all she wrote this afternoon. And they started filing to the exits. The third period effort from the Edmonton Oilers, that's, once again, you're going to have bad games. You're going to have bad moments. You're going to have bad periods. But the fact that the Oilers, like I said, the duality of the Oilers, because at points you're going, holy shit, this is one of the worst performances I've ever seen them play. And then you're back in the game and you're like, wait a minute, they're in this and they could possibly win this hockey game. And for years previous, we know, bet the third period Oilers, you live, bet the comeback. I didn't do it in this one because I never totally felt it from the get-go. And then you get in the third period. I felt a little justified in my decision not to ride with the boys because, yeah, man, they were lethargic in that period. I'm pretty sure they finished with 6 shots in the third period. When you're down, you have that much offensive firepower. Third period was disappointing, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the second intermission, I'd like to know what was said or what wasn't said in that locker room. The boys should have been coming out of that third period with just their legs are going and just jump and spunk, and they didn't really have much. They got outshot, like you said. They only registered 6 shots. They were outshot 9-6. And in that last few minutes before the net was pulled, you'd think that they'd just be attacking, forechecking heavy. They were just casually playing with the puck, looking for plays. There was zero jump and zero urgency. So that was just an unacceptable last stretch the third period by the Oilers there.
Took the word right out of my mouth. No urgency, no jam there, no wanting it. Grab it. And then Cheeks claps in. He said, what was worse, our first period or third period? That's tough. That's tough to think about. And I don't want to think about that. With good comes bad. With bad comes oily. And we went with the next gen game because it's always, I don't know, dude. It's always so cute to see it.
Yeah.
From the anthem, man. Whoever, shout out that kid who performed the anthem because he, was unbelievable. He hit some notes that I had no idea, I'll say, if he was going to hit them or not. And I really liked the moment that it was early. He did the two anthems like back to back right away. He went from one into the other one. And you can tell there's obviously some nerves. I would be peeing my pants if I had to sing in front of 18,500 people. But it was in the first one in the Star Spangled Banner. You could tell there was a little nervous, a little crack in his voice. And the crowd came in with a big cheer, big round of like, come on, to uplift him and bring him up. And you could see it right after that. The kid had a little bit of confidence. And then once again, was hitting notes that I didn't know was possible. I thought it was awesome. You love seeing all the social media admin, if you're online for the Edmonton Oilers, the stuff she was doing, the guys and girls on the panel with Gene Principe. And Gene is just, he's so good at doing this type of stuff with the kids, with the next generation. You throw on top of the next gen game that we had a kid line out there on the ice tonight. I don't know. It's great. I'm happy the Oilers do it. And shout out to all the future broadcasters out there. Go to Nate for TV broadcasting, because the odds of you working at Oilers Nation, statistically speaking, of the amount of people that work here, it's pretty good you'd get hired here. But Pangs, the next gen game.
Yeah, absolutely. I love when the Oilers do that. It's just gives an opportunity to kids to get experience of the in-game experience. And yeah, it's just, it feels nice to watch. They love it. I know that these afternoon games too brings a lot of kids. I'm watching all my friends' Instagram stories. They're bringing the kids to the game. It's just overall a good vibe, good time for everybody. And who knows, maybe the next pre-gaming with someone was in the stands there today.
No. I'll still be around. I can't handle the competition. Also, some people were saying that online, people were making fun of these kids.
Aw,
get a fucking life. If you're chirping kids online for singing the anthem,
come on,
get a fucking life. Like, I don't even. Thank you, Brett. I appreciate that. Just clap. Yeah, girls laughing at Anthem Kid were jeans. Yeah, absolutely. Owen every day could be improved with an anthem singer. I mean, I can try, but I have a raspy voice, which is not, it's not much of a singing voice. I'll tell you that, right? Maybe it's a punk rock singing voice, because punk rock, you can be as bad as you want. Pangs, let's start a band. Let's revisit that after the show. But let's go now to the Shoddy Mills Hot Performers, brought to you by Swiss Donair. They've been open for 25 years and are now open 7 days a week. The pride of the North Side. They do awesome things over there. Great for your events at home or at the office. Check out their location, 8308 144 Ave Northwest, or order online at swissdonair.com. Chat, play along. What are you thinking? Who was the hottest? You can also throw in the jeans as well. Pangs, you're my guest. You're my co-host. I'll let you go first. Who do you want to single out for being a hot performer this afternoon?
I won't go with the low-hanging fruit. I won't go with Connor McDavid. I'm going to give some love to Spencer Stastny. If you look up Spencer Stastny's advanced stats, they're not the greatest. If you judge him by the eye test, he's looking damn good. He's looking very comfortable in the offensive zone. He's playing fetch with the top lines. He's circling. He's controlling the puck with poise. And more often than not, when the Oilers get caught, Spencer Stastny is using his best skill, his skating, to break up plays. And I believe his fancy stats, his advanced metrics, aren't good because of the player he's paired with, whether it's Darnell Nurse or Ty Emberson, giving the puck away, tossing them like grenades. Spencer Stastny is consistently there to bail his partners out. So I'm going to show some love for Spencer Stastny tonight.
I like that pick. I like Spencer Stastny a lot. Once again, we in oil country love to fall in love with our new toys, especially right around Christmas time, especially when they're super fast and super handsome, but I'll leave it at that. But Spencer Stastny, like, you kind of make that, you're talking about, well, it's kind of a detriment of his partner. Welcome to the Edmonton Oilers, brother, because, that's been going on here for a long time. So thank you for becoming our new Brett Kulak. If you're not going to take the low-hanging fruit, then I'm definitely going to take the low-hanging fruit, because Connor McDavid was unbelievable. Yet again, continues his point streak now at 15 games. He finished with 2 points, a goal, and an assist. I believe he's now up to 14 goals, 22 assists, 36 points over his 15-game point streak. It's unbelievable. Scored his 25th goal of the season on a beautiful breakaway. And I guess the one thing I'll say about McDavid in this matchup specifically, the last time they played Philly, they were physical as shit on Connor McDavid. We remember he was getting ragdolled all over the place. Nick Seeler was the guy. The crazy that I remember his name so much is because of how physical he was on McDavid in that hockey game. And you could tell early on, McDavid had a mental note of that. Hey, he did not forget because he was taking it out specifically on Travis Konechny at points in this hockey game when Travis Konechny not going to be on Team Canada. So maybe McDavid, maybe he said, okay, this is my opportunity. We're not going to be teammates. So I'm going to take my licks when I can here. But McDavid had a little bit of extra energy in him. He laid out a big hit. I think he dropped Jamie Drysdale at one point in the game. And obviously McDavid, he put up the points. He finishes with 6 shots. He's really good at hockey. But I do think there was a flip switched in Connor McDavid's head where he was not going to be bullied around for the second time against the Flyers this season. And now what you've been looking for, what you've been waiting for. The Jeans, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Only the finest tasting meat products earn the Wilhauk name, made from 100% Alberta beef. Their jerky is aged, seasoned, marinated, and smoked to savory perfection. They gladly fill orders of any size, and you can find their jerky, sausage, and other products out of their Leduc location. And for more information, head on over to Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Cheeks clap. He's been saying a lot in the chat today. And he's in here, and he says, Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Pangs. Let's unpack that. What did you think of Leon Draisaitl in this game? Because the first 2 goals against that second line of Podkolzin and Leon and Jack Roslovic were on the ice for both of them. I would then also argue offensively to start the game. They were also one of them pulling the heavy load. But Leon, let me ask you first. What did you think about Leon Draisaitl? Because it was definitely not his best performance we've seen in a minute.
Yeah, since the Christmas break, Leon Draisaitl is in one of his stretches where he's just not moving his feet at 5-on-5. Against the Flyers, he had a big giveaway in the first period. In the third period, when he was receiving a pass, he fell down. And when he was transporting the puck up the neutral zone, he got it stripped. Leon Draisaitl is in that stretch again where he is not moving his feet. Am I concerned moving forward? Absolutely not. He just needs to step up, play a little bit better. He's only has 1 5-on-5 point over the last 4 games. So Leon Draisaitl, he needs to step it up a little bit.
Yep, I think that's fair. And hey, everybody's got to be held accountable. Once again, Leon Draisaitl still having an unbelievable season. It does feel like a much different year as compared to last year when we know he was going for the Hart Trophy. MVP, was scoring goals left, right, and center. Feels like the points are still there. Maybe some of the goal scoring's gone down a bit. Also, he has better line mates than one Jack Roslovic this season. And Vasily Podkolzin, for a guy who's ill, didn't look very ill because he always leads the league in effort. Like, he blocked that one shot where he went flying across the ice and they had to get helped up and go down the dressing room. And I'm like, man, this guy's dealing with a sickness right now and he's putting his body on the line. So Vasily Podkolzin, honorable mention, not for the genes, but for the hot performer, I guess I could say as well. And then, I mean, you could just spit. Maybe, Brett, at some points we should just start bringing the wheel into it, and we'll just put up like Freddie, Rico, Regula, and we'll just spin the wheel, and that's who can end up getting the genes. Because I feel like a broken record. I continue to sit here and be like, yeah, Alec Regula, bad game, genes. Yet nothing happens about it. So we're just waiting for one Jake Wallman to return to the lineup for the Edmonton Oilers. Quickly. What was that? Let's do Boards Bankroll, brought to you by Bet365. 19 plus. Please play responsibly. Download the app today because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Well, let me tell you, folks, it can go well for Boards Bankroll out there today. I go 1 for 3 on the afternoon. I'll just give some time here for Brett to bring it in. Yeah, Connor McDavid, he did hit his 3+ shots on goal. So if you tuned in, I actually teased this up live to 4+ shots on goal. He finished with 6. But unfortunately, that was the only thing that was going to hit this afternoon for me. I was confident in Roslovic being back in a second-line right-wing position. And the way Chris Knobloch was talking about Rosie after Wednesday's game and saying, yep, he's going to be a staple next to Leon Draisaitl. We need to play our best players with other great players in Roslovic. And yeah, they stuck together, but just was not the performance I was looking for. Pangs, Brett, did either of you guys profit off anything on Bet365 this afternoon? Chat, you as well. It's always tough when the Oilers only score twice. I doubt many people profited.
Brett, you want to go?
He's a man of few words. He's a man of few words. Doesn't need to say much. Doesn't need to say much.
Thumbs it up.
I appreciate that. The only other thing that we need to touch on, the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament. Shout out to them. It's going down in January, later on this month. And you can still register for the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament, which is a little bit crazy to me, January 23rd to the 25th. So anybody want to make that late mosaic team featuring me and Brett, we are more than willing to head on down, and there's all kinds of divisions over there, so your skill levels can range. What Chaos, DJ Bean, Pete Blackburn, they're going to be out at the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament. And then, of course, people from Flames Nation, Canucks Army, Daily Faceoff, maybe even some of the Leafs Nation guys. Rosie, Jay Rosehill, lives very, very close to Jasper, so I'm sure he might be making an appearance as well. And let me tell you, Rosie is a guy that you want to party with. I highly, highly recommend it. Pegs, is there anything else that we have yet to touch on this hockey game? Yes, the only thing I should probably give him more flowers is Dan Vladar. He was good in this hockey game. I feel gross doing it. He stopped 22 of 24 for a .917 save percentage. He's having an unreal year. Came in with a .910 save percentage. He's top 10 in wins, just outside the top 10 in save percentage. And hey, he was solid in this one, much like he was solid in their last game against the Edmonton Oilers. In fact, both performances against the Oil, he's only allowed 2 goals in each game. What can you say about Dan Vladar? And then we'll head on out of here.
Yeah, I mean, he played good. I wish it was just like the good old days when the Oilers would light him up when he was part of the Calgary Flames there, but that is not the case. But just talking about net minding here, I guess the story to look out for moving forward is Connor Ingram. I believe after Calvin Pickard let in as many goals as he did tonight, the net should be Connor Ingram's. And if anybody checked the article that I wrote at Oilersnation.com, Connor Ingram has this. I did this research, and after games where he has a sub 800 save percentage, he bounces back rather hugely over the last 2.5 years, and especially in the second game after the poor performance. So if Connor Ingram gets the net the next game, I'm expecting a really big game performance from him if history repeats itself.
A little inside information for Butch's Bankroll possibly in our next game. That's right. I mean, we talked about it on pre-gaming. I feel like this is just healthy competition, in my opinion, for this role here between Ingram and Calvin Pickard while Tristan Jarry is injured. You play the hot hand. And I think if you win, you keep the net. You lose, maybe it's not as simple as that. If you could lose, if you still played good and whatnot. But I feel like we saw it for Connor Ingram. That was his worst performance as an Oiler. Bang, it's Calvin Pickard back in the crease. And now Pickard, that one left some to the imagination. I think you go right back to Connor Ingram and you say which one of you wants it, which one of you wants to grab the starter's position for now. And then ideally, either back up to a healthy Tristan Jarry whenever he decides to return, ideally later in January. But that will do it for us, Oilers Nation After Dark. Sean Paganeben, contributor here at Oilers Nation. Brett Holden, producer behind the scenes. And my name's Bordsy, but you already knew that. Shout out to our sponsors. Everybody in the chat, throw down your courtesy like on the way out. Hunker down for a great weekend. We got a little NFL football action going on later tonight. And then, of course, Boards. I'll be on my couch for the entire day tomorrow watching NFL football. Can't wait. Then we're back Monday. The holidays, they're done now. And we move on Monday. It's back. It's back to reality. It's back to the studio. It's back to everything. So a little excited for that, but also dreading it a little as well. I've been loving the at-home shows. I am wearing pants today, chat. But I will leave it at that. Love you all. Throw down your like on the way out. Make sure you are subscribed. And we will talk Monday, 12:01 Mountain Standard Time for Oilers Nation every day. Talk then.